Real talk, this might be my favorite live action Star Wars product since ever. What's going on YouTube? My name is Jay Lee and I like a lot of stuff. Today I'm talking about Andor Season 1, which just finished its 12 episode run on Disney+. For once, I actually watched trailers before going into this one because I just needed to know if it was worth my time. After some mediocre experiences with Boba Fett and Kenobi, I really didn't want to be let down by another D+ Star Wars product. I had no idea the show had ties to Rogue One, which I actually quite enjoyed, and watched twice in theaters because, well, this. To my surprise, the trailer looked so legit. It looked like a true extension of Rogue One and not just a cash-in TV spin-off. I could say that Andor lit a fire under me to go back and rewatch Rogue One, maybe the original trilogy, but that would be grossly understating all the things they made me feel. Andor Season 1 has reignited my love for Star Wars itself and has gotten me more invested in the franchise than maybe ever before. What's extra unique and not at all blasphemous about me saying so is that Andor accomplishes this by being something so unexpectedly different from Star Wars. This is just top-tier storytelling, world building, drama, intrigue, characters, all the creative ingredients that get people coming back to their favorite shows week after week, episode after episode. The quality of storytelling makes me think of the best entries by HBO and AMC. It's very mature and serious without being excessively somber or boring. The show does have social commentary woven into its fabric, but it never feels heavy-handed or preachy. Instead, the showrunners allow the scenarios to affect and shape the characters, thereby painting an intricate picture that you experience rather than merely sit back and perceive. Sorry, I know that's a really pretentious way to say that you feel what the characters are going through, but yeah, the empathy is real. These are fictional characters based in science fiction living in a galaxy far, far away, and yet the show feels extremely real and grounded. And that's something I noted to my wife while watching Andor, is that so much of it doesn't feel like fantasy, doesn't feel like Star Wars at all. The backdrop of the Empire and the rising rebellion is ever present, but it never felt so fantastical that you couldn't connect with Cassian or Bix or even Cyril. Okay, maybe not Cyril because that dude was crazy. But this is what I mean by the characters being so praiseworthy. There are so many fully realized characters intermingling within this complex story, and they all have depth and weight to them. Most have clear motivations that you can see and understand. Others have muddled, flaky intentions, not because they're poorly written, but because it's part of their personalities. It feels like high-stakes scenarios happening to real people. You just happen to get to come along for the very wild ride. Though the show is named after the character Cassian Andor, I can't express how much it's about everyone else in the show as well. Almost every person you spend more than a few minutes with has a role, a purpose in the show. It's creatively astounding, to be honest. And back on the topic of the writing, that might be the true standout of the show. The finale especially had me gasping and clutching my chest at just how gorgeously written so much of the dialogue was. Show creator Tony Gilroy deserves all the praise in the galaxy for crafting such a layered and captivating story, and doing it in a way that elevates Star Wars as a property entirely. The production value is phenomenal, the acting is far and away the best we've seen in Star Wars, period, and the story will surely be an all-time great for Star Wars fans. I will say that it does take a few episodes to get going, so it wasn't until the third episode that I realized just how special the show was going to be. But once you get there, there's no turning back. It really does explode with all the makings of an all-time great TV series. Andor also gets points for being able to stand alone as a mostly self-contained quality piece of programming and not just a cog in the wheel of a cinematic universe. Seriously, to do this without overly relying on legacy characters, cameos, or fan service, it's extremely unlike Star Wars, first of all. And secondly, I do feel that Andor is better off without all that stuff. I never found myself waiting for the big reveal or anything shoehorned in to service the fans. But what fan service does occur is slight and subtle enough to remind you that this is still taking place in a universe that people know and love so much. It does for the Rebellion and Cassian Andor what Rogue One did for A New Hope. That is, Rogue One succeeds in lending emotional weight to the destruction of the Death Star. Andor gave me feels I couldn't have fathomed would come from seeing the rebels become what they would eventually be. I assure you, my words of praise will go on long after this review is up on YouTube. Andor is, in my opinion, the best modern Star Wars has to offer, and gets a perfect score from me. Although the season ends satisfyingly, there are so many plot lines I'm dying to see unfold and conclude in season 2. I cannot wait, and you shouldn't wait to jump on Andor if you haven't already. And of course, you can come back soon to catch my thoughts on all the stuff I haven't talked about yet.